Well, I'm back. It's been about 3 years since I last posted on YouTube, so it's been a minute. If we've never met, hi, my name is Jaquie Ohh. I'm a former model turned full-time photographer and content creator. As of today, I've grown a community of over 110,000 on Instagram, which is crazy. And now I'm back on YouTube to hopefully grow an even bigger community here. Today, we're gonna go over how I went from being a model to a full-time photographer and content creator, why I was gone so long, what happened, why am I back, and what kind of content you can expect to see on this channel in the future. I know this can be a lot of information, so I'm gonna try to move through it as quickly as possible. Let's get started. All right, how I went from model to full-time photographer and content creator. Well, I've always loved photography. I'm fascinated by the things that you can do with a camera. I love capturing moments of raw emotion and all that sappy stuff, but let's be real. I started off loving to be in front of the camera. Back in 2009, I was going to college in Boca Raton, Florida, getting my degree in economics of all things, while at the same time modeling and bartending for extra cash. When I was growing up, I always got good grades. I was a little nerdy, a little awkward. I don't think anybody would have thought I would have ended up being a model. My dad still doesn't know, but she hit a glow up in college, girl, and look at her now. Eventually, I got the opportunity to shoot with a MAXIM photographer, which landed me a 10-page spread in MAXIM in Espanol. Crazy. That was my first taste of being published. From there, I entered into the US MAXIM Hometown Hotties contest and ended up making it into the top 10. They flew us around the world. I was in multiple magazines, calendars, posters, you name it. That's when my modeling career really took off and I was able to do it full-time after finishing school and quit bartending. But eventually, my patience and passion for the industry began to dwindle, and honestly, modeling just didn't pay that much. The effort to stay camera ready and stay relevant just wasn't sustainable. So that's when I decided to quit modeling and got a big girl job in real estate financing. Was the money better? Yes, absolutely. Did I love it? Absolutely not. Then in 2016, I picked up my first professional camera and I was hooked. I was taking pictures of everything. Even though I had no clue what I was doing, I was just shooting in auto. People told me that I had the eye. I started obsessively watching YouTube videos like Peter McKinnon. I started taking pictures for my friends. I even started making content for the title companies that I was working for. Eventually I thought, maybe I should take this more seriously. So I started interning at this studio that my good friends owned. I owe them a lot because I learned so much about the technicalities of photography, lighting, how to be organized, how to run it like a business. If you ever have the opportunity to intern at a studio, highly recommend you do so. Luckily, while I was still pretty fresh from the internship, I started working for a creative agency as their full-time photographer and creative director. Super cool. This is where I got to grow my skills and get some real-world experience. It was intense because a lot of times I was told to just figure it out. And in those situations, you just have to fake it till you make it. I had a lot of firsts where I had to pretend like I knew what I was doing. I would definitely be YouTube cramming the day before a shoot. It always worked out though, and I'll always be eternally grateful for my 4 or 5 years there because it really jump-started my career. And then in January of 2023, I went out on my own, started Muse Media, and here we are today. I have a steady schedule of photography clients. I'm also a full-time content creator for my own brand, which has brought me brand deals and clients of its own who want to know how to do content for their brands. I can't say that it's been an easy transition. It's definitely way harder to run your own business, especially when you're trying to be the creative, but it's also extremely rewarding after you have a couple of panic attacks. So why was I gone so long? What happened? And why am I back? If you were following me 3 years ago when I was working for the creative agency, you probably noticed a couple of YouTube videos I did while I was working for them. It was during COVID lockdowns, so I was doing them here at home. My thought process was, if I showed what we did, built our brand, and generated a following on YouTube, that would establish some trust and authority in our industry, and that would translate into more clients. Well, I quickly found out how difficult it was to make these videos and stay consistent. And once we started going back to the office again, work picked up tremendously and I got swamped. I was so busy making content for our other clients, it was just impossible to stay consistent with our brand. So the YouTube and even my own personal Instagram dried up. They were pretty much dead for years. I wasn't getting views, likes, followers, nada. All my energy was going to our clients. Then in January of 2023, due to many factors, I separated from the agency and I started my own company. But I didn't start posting or promoting myself right away. The change happened quite abruptly and I didn't have a plan for how I was gonna do this. And honestly, at that point, I was pretty burned out. I didn't have the mental capacity or drive to really kickstart this thing. So it really took a couple months of me going ghost and detaching and contemplating, if I really wanted to start my own business or how I even wanted to go about it. That was a really difficult time. A lot of dark moments of self-doubt. On top of that, I wasn't allowed to use any of the work I had done in the past 5 years at the agency to promote myself, even if it was just reposting something that someone tagged me in their story. So essentially, I had to start from zero and build my portfolio again from scratch. But luckily, I have an amazing support system, and after my sabbatical, I came back guns blazing. I started shooting multiple times a week for free to build up my portfolio. I built my own website, I learned to run my own ads, and I came up with a content strategy that grew my Instagram following from 52,000 to over 110,000 in just over 6 months. And I didn't have to pay for them. Which brings me to my final speech. What kind of content can you expect from this channel in the future? First off, I want to be doing some behind the scenes vlogs of the shoots that I do so you can see the gear that I use, the setup, how I pose and communicate with the client, the editing, delivering, just an overall view behind the curtain, so to speak. Not only do I think it'll be entertaining because we're always cutting up and laughing on these shoots, but I think it'll also be valuable for you to see the process of somebody who does this as a living, not just as a hobby. This includes pricing clients, pitching your services, and all the little things that go into running a photography business. Another thing I want to share with you is how I go about being a content creator. It seems like a simple concept, just, I post the video and all these followers come rolling in. No. It is harder than ever to become a content creator, influencer, whatever you want to call it. It took a lot of work to get my dead Instagram to 110 followers. Even though I started with 52,000, those were old followers that I gained back in the MAXIM days. Most weren't interacting at all since I wasn't being half naked anymore. I was getting pathetic reach and barely 100 likes on a photo. It was dead. So I want to share with you guys the strategies that I implemented to gain more followers, how I film and edit my content, where I get ideas, how I optimize my posts to get more reach, and how I get deals with brands, which we all want. And finally, I want to share my journey with you in a more unique way, but that also brings value to you. So yes, I'll be showing you gear, apps, and other things that I find useful, I think you'll find useful. I want to learn along with you. Even though I do this for a living and can be considered a professional, I am by no means a master of this craft. So I want to start a series where I go behind the scenes with other creators in the industry and see how they do what they do in their field. Kind of like a live podcast where I interview them, but we also get to walk through a photo shoot with them. I don't know, I think it'll be a cool way to get to know some real creators in the industry and see how they work. Now this sounds pretty ambitious, but this is just an idea that I have, so stay tuned to see if I can pull it off. Overall, I have some ideas of what I want to show on this channel, and I know that those ideas will expand with time, but I also want to be making content that you guys want to see. So I'll be relying on your suggestions and requests. Just like most of my creator journey, I will be figuring it out as I go, and hopefully you'll want to tune in. So to wrap this all up, you know what's coming. Please like, subscribe, share, save, do all of those things us creators ask you to do, and get used to me asking that because we're back on YouTube, baby. Woo!